Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to go over the vocabulary words and pictures for second grade Journeys, lesson 10, and our anchor text is Jellies. For this lesson, we're going to turn and talk. That means I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to think about your answer. Then you're going to pair up with a partner at home or with me, your virtual partner. And then you're going to share out your answer in a complete sentence or sentences. For this lesson, you will need a pencil and a piece of paper or journal page. Because you're going to divide the paper into 3 equal parts, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to write numbers 1 to 8. So if you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil, push pause, get your materials, and when you're ready to join me, push play. So you're going to write each of the 8 vocabulary words. And then in the next column, you're going to write a synonym or short definition. A synonym means a word that means the same. For example, combine is the same as mix. Mix and combine basically mean the same thing. They are synonyms. So you can write a synonym for the targeted vocabulary word or a short definition. But if you don't catch that, that's okay. You can rewrite the word a second time. And then in the third column, I want you to draw a quick picture or sketch to help you remember the vocabulary word. And you're going to do this for each of your 8 words. Let's go over our learning target. Repeat after me. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the text Jellies. Our other learning target is I can have a conversation with a partner about the vocabulary words and pictures. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at using pictures and context clues and having a conversation about those vocabulary words? Well, here are our steps to success. I will. Number 1, look closely at each group of pictures. Number 2, say what I notice about the pictures. How are they the same or similar? Number 3, read each definition and read each word and its definition. And then 4, write each word 1 to 2 times, a synonym, and then draw a quick picture or sketch. So you're going to write the word. You are going to write it either 1 or 2 times, and then you're going to write the synonym or a short definition, and then draw a quick sketch or picture to help you remember the word. So let's go over our turn and talk rules. If you have a partner at home, make sure, number 1, you're eye to eye and knee to knee. You're always looking at your partner when they're speaking or when you're speaking to them. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens, and then the next person talks and the other person listens. Do not talk too long on your turn or your partner will not have time for a turn. For each group of pictures, I'm going to ask the same questions. What do you notice or see? And you're going to say out loud, I notice or I see, and you're going to finish your thought. Tell me out loud what you notice. For example, I notice an emoji with binoculars and a smile. I'm also going to ask, how are they all the same or similar? So you're going to say they all. If you have a partner or if I'm your virtual partner, you can either agree with me and say, I agree with you, Mrs. Pearson, because, or I disagree. I disagree with you because, and tell me why. So number 1, here's our first picture, group of pictures. What do you notice or see? So you can say, I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice many, many millions of stars in the sky. And in the second picture, I notice hundreds or maybe even thousands or millions of cats that the man is around. And then in the third picture, I notice $1 million. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all Well, number one, they all show millions. There's millions of stars, millions of cats, and the man has millions of dollars. So you need to write number one, millions, millions, millions. Millions. When you have millions of something, you have more than 1 million, which is a very large number. Millions of stars, millions of cats, millions of dollars, a very large number. So a synonym could be very large number. So write millions. If you have time, you can write in the second column, very large number. It looks like this shark has millions of teeth, but it really only has a few dozen. Millions. Think about it. Have you ever thought about the millions of stars in the sky? Millions of stars. There are millions of stars in the sky. So make sure you've written millions. You can also push pause and write a very large number in the second column, and then draw a quick picture or sketch in the third column. And when you're ready to rejoin me, push play. I'm also going to be showing all 8 vocabulary words at the end of this lesson where you also can push pause and get caught up. Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, it looks like a girl has many different choices or decisions she has to make of where to go. And in the second picture, it looks like the boy chose his bear over some other toys. In the third picture, I noticed 3 doors. Which one would you choose? So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show, well, they all show choices. So write the word choices. 1 choice, 2 choices, many choices. 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 Choices are things you have to choose from. Decisions. Choices are things you have to choose from. Decisions. So a synonym or a word that means the same could be decisions. 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 Visitors at the aquarium have many choices of things to see. Visitors at the aquarium have many choices of things to see. Think about it. What are your favorite choices for books? So again, write choices. In the second column, you could write decisions. And then in the third column, you draw a quick sketch or picture. If you want to, push pause and do that now. And then when you're finished, push play. I'm also going to show you these words again at the end of the lesson where you can push pause and write them as well. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a boy is floating with a floaty in a pool. In the next picture, I notice Winnie the Pooh is floating with a balloon in the air, and I see a message in a bottle floating on the water. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show drift. Drift. So write drift for number 3, D-R-I-F-T, drift. What is drift? If you drift, you move slowly without a set direction. If you drift, you move slowly without a set direction. A synonym could be float. The boy is floating or drifting. Winnie the Pooh is floating with a balloon or drifting. And the message in a bottle is floating or drifting. Drift or float mean similar things. They are synonyms of each other. This clever otter will not drift or float away. This clever otter will not drift or float away. Think about it. What makes leaves drift to the ground in the fall? Number 4, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a simple triangle and rectangle put together to make a house. In the second picture, I notice an easy math equation, 2 jellyfish plus 2 jellyfish equal 4. In the third picture, I notice one boy draws a simple drawing of a house and the girl draws a more elaborate, detailed picture of a mansion or house. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show simple. Number 4 is simple. S-I-M-P-L-E, simple. What does simple mean? If something is simple, it is easy and does not have many parts. Simple. If something is simple, it is easy and does not have many parts. A synonym could be easy, E-A-S-Y, easy. Something that is simple can also be easy. Dolphins make jumping out of the ocean look simple and easy. Think about it. What is something simple or easy that you do every day? What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a small man is arm wrestling with a much larger, stronger man. In the second picture, SpongeBob is trying to lift something that looks very light, but it looks very hard for SpongeBob to lift. And in the third picture, I notice a very strong monkey holding 2 big things of bananas and a very weak monkey who can barely hold a little bit of bananas. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show weaker. So number 5 is weaker. W-E-A-K-E-R. The root word is weak. And if you put the ER, it's weaker. When you are weaker, you have less strength than before. So a synonym or a shorter definition could be less strength. So that's a shorter definition. Weaker is the same as less strength. One of these crab claws is weaker than the other. It is not very strong. Think about it. Are you weaker when you are sick or when you are healthy? Why do you think so? Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I noticed a present that's wrapped in green paper with a bow. In the next picture, I notice a mummy that's wrapped in cloth. In the third picture, I notice a baby that's snugly wrapped in a blanket, warm and cozy. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show wrapped. W-R-A-P-P-E-D, wrapped. The root word is wrap, to wrap, and wrapped with the ed is past tense. It happened in the past. To be wrapped around something is to cover or twist around it. To be wrapped around something is to cover or twist around it. Wrapped. So a short definition or a synonym is covered. C-O-V-E-R-E-D, covered. Wrapped and covered are synonyms of each other. The octopus wrapped its strong tentacles around its prey. Think about it. Have you ever seen a vine wrapped around a tree? Where was it? Wrapped. All right, next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a Mr. Yuck sticker. If you see this, it means it's yucky, and people usually put it on medicine that could hurt someone. So Mr. Yuck is telling someone not to eat it. So in the second picture, I notice disgust from one of a movie I've seen. And in the third picture, I notice an emoji that is throwing up. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all show disgusting. The root word is disgust, and it has ing, disgust, disgusting. D-I-S-G-U-S-T-I-N-G, disgusting. If something is disgusting, it makes you feel sick or gross. A synonym could be gross, G-R-O-S-S. Disgusting and gross are synonyms of each other. Yuck, the litter around the trash can smells disgusting. Think about it. Do you think worms are disgusting? Explain. And here's our last group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, it looks like a girl is trying to decide if she wants to wear the purple dress or the green shirt and red pants. In the second picture, I notice someone needs to decide if they want the triangle card or the circle card. In the third picture, it looks like the person has to decide or has a decision on where to go. He has two choices or she has two choices. So how are these pictures the same or similar? They all Well, they all show decide. Decide. D-E-C-I-D-E. Decide. When you decide something, you choose what to do or think. Decide. So a synonym could be choose. Choose and decide are synonyms of each other. Is this a starfish or a crab? You decide or you choose. Think about it. How do you decide what games to play with your friends? All right, it is time to check your work. Make sure you have all your 8 words, your synonym or short definition, and a synonym is combine is the same as mix. That's an example of a synonym. And then you get your crayons out. You can rainbow write your word and draw a quick picture or sketch. So number 1, millions. When you have millions of something, you have more than 1 million, which is a very large number. And I highlighted the shorter definition, very large number. Number 2, choices. Choices are things you have to choose from, decisions, choices. Number 3, drift. If you drift, you move slowly without a set direction, float. Number 4, simple. If something is simple, it is easy and does not have many parts. Simple. So what I want you to do is make sure you have your word, your synonym or short definition in the second column, and then your quick sketch or picture. So if you haven't finished it already, push pause. Make sure you have all 4 vocabulary words, their synonyms, and a quick picture for 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you're finished with words 1 to 4, push play to rejoin the lesson. Number 5, weaker. When you are weaker, you have less strength than before. Weaker, less strength. Number 6, wrapped. To be wrapped around something is to cover or twist around it. Wrapped or cover. Number 7, disgusting. If something is disgusting, it makes you feel sick or gross. Disgusting. And number 8, decide. When you decide something, you choose what to do or think. And I highlighted the word choose. So make sure you have all of these words, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then make sure you have a shorter definition or synonym in the second column. And I've highlighted those words for you. And then in the third column, make sure you have a quick picture or sketch to go with each of the words. So if you need to, push pause, write your words 5 through 8. Make sure you have a synonym and a quick picture or sketch. And then when you're ready to join me, push play. So on the top of your paper, I want you to reflect, what was our learning target? I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the text Jellies. Would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I easily said what I noticed about each group of pictures and how they were the same. Would you give yourself a 3? I was able to say what I noticed about most of the pictures and how they were the same. Or would you give yourself a 2? I was able to say what I noticed about some of the pictures and how they were the same. Or 1, I was not able to say what I noticed about any of the pictures or how they were the same. You decide or you choose. Would you give yourself a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? Boys and girls, thank you for doing the vocabulary words with me. Have a great day.